that throws your sense of balance out the window. The color room forces your eyes to see things the brain can't quite understand. I don't know. There's a lot going on there. It's Dubai. That's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow. News 3 at 5 starts right after this.
Right now at 5, the man found guilty of killing his elderly landlord is sentenced. We'll tell you how long he'll spend in prison.
The Dane County Regional Airport announces another nonstop flight to the West Coast. We'll tell you where.
And we're breaking down claims made by the candidates for U.S. Senate in tonight's Reality Check.
This is News 3 at 5.
Thanks for staying with News 3. A Middleton man will spend the rest of his life in prison for killing his elderly landlord last April.
Today, a judge sentenced Jack Hammond to life with no eligibility for parole for the brutal killing. Amanda Quintana is here with what the woman's family said in court. Amanda.
Yes, well, Agnes Bram's children and her granddaughter spoke today at the sentencing. Hammond also spoke. He's still denying that he killed the 82-year-old grandmother, saying he had no motive. She gave him a cheap place to stay and was nice to him. During the trial, evidence proved he killed the woman with blunt force trauma to the head, causing 16 injuries that severely damaged her skull. Her body was found by her family days later.
My heart shatters knowing that my mom won't be walking in the door saying hello or asking what's for dinner that night. Every night when I go to bed, I have nightmares seeing my mom's bloody body laying on a cold garage floor.
Today, the only question was if Hammond would be eligible for parole. The judge deciding no, saying the brutality of what happened was difficult to comprehend, even though his attorney tried to argue he was at a low risk to reoffend. Because Hammond has maintained his innocence throughout the trial, we still don't know details about why or how he did this. So the family still has a lot of unanswered questions, even though this brought them a little bit of peace.
All right, thanks, Amanda.
An Amber Alert has been issued for a Barron County teenager. Authorities are looking for 13-year-old Jamie Kloss. Law enforcement officials say her parents were found dead in their home early this morning. Authorities have been searching for Jamie since a 911 call was placed to sheriff's dispatchers around 1 this morning. Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald says it is not known who made that call. He says gunshots are involved, but he stopped short of saying what caused the deaths of the man and woman, and he did not release their names. The sheriff says the girl is missing and in danger and is not a suspect in her parents' deaths. The FBI and National Center for Missing and Exploited Children are assisting in this investigation.
Let's get a check on weather now. Gary Canalti is in the Weather Center. Gary?
Well, kind of a chilly day today, and temperatures will stay on the cool side for much of the next week, maybe even next week and a half or so. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud track. You can see just a few cumulus clouds popping up mainly over central and northern Wisconsin. Those are starting to thin out, and to the west, skies are clear, and that will allow us to have a cold night for tonight. As we check out Doppler track, there are some light snow showers up near Lake Superior. Last night, Madison did report a trace of snowfall. Some flurries fell during the overnight hours. hours as low temperatures here in town dropped to 32 degrees. To the north, temperatures were in the upper 20s to the lower 30s. To our east, mainly in the middle 30s. High temperatures today, not much of a bargain. Only 42 as warm as we've been all day here in Madison, and that's where we are now with the current temperature. Up to the north, temperatures have already dropped into the upper 30s, and by tomorrow morning, look for them to be back to around freezing with mostly clear skies overnight. Tomorrow will be mostly sunny. It will be breezy and not quite as chilly. Our high temperature topping out at 53. That's your first alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. A 13-year-old boy was arrested in connection with an attack on a woman last week in a parking lot on Madison's west side. According to police, the 58-year-old woman was leaving her workplace on Odana Road when she was approached by a boy and girl who hit her car and then attacked and robbed her. The victim was taken to the emergency room for painful facial injuries. Police say the 13-year-old is a member of a local street gang. He was arrested in August for driving a stolen SUV. When an officer tried talking to the teen, he said, quote, "This is only the beginning. We're just getting started." The teen was also arrested last November, just 12 years old at the time. He's facing multiple charges, including a tentative charge of robbery.
A Stevens Point man is facing a homicide charge in connection with a woman's drug-related death. Investigators say 32-year-old Michael O'Brien delivered the drugs that likely caused the death of a 27-year-old Partyville woman in September. Court records show O'Brien is charged with reckless homicide and 2 counts of delivery of narcotics. The death was part of a string of 4 drug overdose deaths in Columbia County during a week-long period in early September.
Dane County Regional Airport announces another nonstop to the West Coast, adding Los Angeles International Airport to the list of now 19 nonstops out of Madison. That service will begin on United Airlines March 31st on an Embraer E175 that seats 76 passengers. The flight departs daily at 3:33 p.m., arriving at LAX at 5:48 Pacific, returning with a 9:02 a.m. flight, arriving in Madison 4 hours later at 2:57 Central. The airport has added nonstops to Phoenix, Tampa, Fort Myers, and San Francisco in recent months.
The candidates running for governor have new proposals tonight for what they'll do if elected.
Governor Scott Walker says he'll increase state funding for schools. State Schools Chief Tony Evers is calling for a tax cut. Rose Schmidt just got back from an Evers campaign event downtown. She's here in studio to explain their latest plans. Rose?
That's right. Republican Governor Scott Walker is announcing today his plan to fund schools to 2/3 of their total costs. He says he won't raise property taxes, but has not yet said how he would pay for that funding. Democrat Tony Evers also proposed this in the budget he submitted last month in his role as state superintendent. Evers says he also would not raise property taxes to fund the schools. At a campaign event today in Madison, he said Walker did not release a plan to fund the schools and just said the words 2/3. Evers also announced a plan to cut income taxes by 10% for people who make less than $100,000 and families making up to $150,000.
People working can't afford the basics, whether it's rent, utilities, child care. With that in mind, our middle class does need a break, and we're going to give them a 10% break on their taxes, income taxes.
Governor Walker's campaign says Walker has cut income taxes across the board, and they're now lower than in 2010. Walker also announced his plans to increase state funding for town roads by about $53 million, a 36% increase. In response, Evers called Walker schizophrenic on infrastructure issues and says he's waited too long to fund town roads. Now, the latest Marquette Law School poll shows Walker and Evers are neck and neck heading into November, with Walker polling just 1 point ahead.
All right, Rose Schmidt in studio. Rose, thank you.
Congressman Mark Pocan talked today about a new bill that he's sponsoring that encourages charitable giving. Pocan spoke about the Everyday Philanthropist Act alongside Wisconsin Boys and Girls Club leaders. The act looks to create a flexible giving account for pre-tax payroll deductions. Pocan says the bill is in response to last year's tax overhaul.
You know, one of the unfortunate byproducts of the tax bill that was passed last year, by increasing the personal deduction, makes it fewer people will itemize, and often charitable donations come from itemization. So what we don't want to happen is a bunch of charities across Wisconsin and across the country receive less money.
Pocan says the bill is receiving bipartisan support.
The candidates for U.S. Senate will meet this week for their third and final debate before Election Day.
But a debate over the weekend may have left viewers with questions about their claims. Political reporter Jessica Arp clears up some of it for us in tonight's Reality Check.
Saturday night's WBA debate covered a range of topics from healthcare to immigration, but we wanted to zero in on some things that may have left you wondering, including this claim from State Senator Leah Vukmir, where she said she did not support changing the drug scheduling of marijuana.
The Department of Drug Enforcement and Education has said that marijuana is highly addictive, even more addictive than Vicodin and meth and other drugs.
This is misleading. We could find no published data from the DEA saying that marijuana is more addictive than meth. Marijuana is scheduled higher on the DEA's ranking than meth, but that is largely based on a drug's medical value. Cannabis is a Schedule I drug, defined as drugs with no currently accepted medical use and a high potential for abuse. Methamphetamines and Vicodin are both Schedule II drugs. Those are drugs with high potential for abuse, with use potentially leading to severe psychological or physical dependence. Baldwin, in turn, then raised some questions about where Vukmir stands on climate change and the EPA.
My opponent not only disputes climate science, and I'm learning today that she also is disputing some of the science behind cleaner energy sources, et cetera. But she also would see fitting to eliminate the Environmental Protection Agency.
This needs clarification. Baldwin's team points to statements that Vukmir made, agreeing with the conservative radio host that the EPA wasn't needed, saying that the EPA duplicates what happens at the federal and state level. Vukmir's campaign reaffirmed in a statement to News 3 that she believes we do not need, quote, duplicative regulations, but said it was dishonest to say she thought the EPA should not exist. The candidates have also been trading barbs about newly confirmed Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh.
And Senator Baldwin decided after 48 hours after it was announced that Judge Kavanaugh was going to be the pick, Senator Baldwin said she wasn't going to support him. And you didn't even have the decency, Senator Baldwin, to even meet with Judge Kavanaugh. You had your mind made up.
The way you make an appointment with a nominee is to go through the nominator, which is the White House. I am among dozens of senators who were denied the chance to meet with him.
This needs clarification. Vukmir points to the fact that Baldwin put out a release 48 hours after Kavanaugh's nomination. Baldwin's July statement said she did not think he would be a, quote, fair, impartial, and independent justice, and that she would not support his confirmation. But Baldwin says she tried to meet with Kavanaugh, sharing emails from her office asking 7 times for a meeting starting on August 22nd. Published reports from the Washington Post show Kavanaugh met with 56 of 100 senators, including 8 Democrats. I'm Jessica Arp with this News 3 Reality Check.
If you have an idea for a reality check, send it to us at realitycheck@channel3000.com.
There's some renovations in the works for Alliant Energy Center, and you have a chance tonight to weigh in on what you'd like to see there. Tonight, you can expect a joint presentation of the draft master plan in a public meeting. The county wants you to take a look at that draft and add any additional input or changes you'd like to see. With the Alliant Energy Center campus being one of the region's premier event destinations, officials say just like with time, you have to transform and bring new excitement to the area. And if they want to continue to host big name events, this project is a must, they say, for our local economy.
We know from studies that we support over 1,700 jobs in the community. Estimates are that if we do the kind of improvements to this campus that we're talking about, that we would look at supporting twice as many jobs in the community. So it's an investment in the campus, but it's something that all of Dane County would benefit from.
If you'd like to go, the public meeting is tonight in the Expo Hall. Starts in about 20 minutes, and it runs from 5:30 until 7 p.m.
There's more to come tonight at 5 when we come back. A big night for sports fans in Wisconsin. We'll preview the Brewers matchup against the Dodgers and the Packers versus the 49ers.
On Wall Street, another down day for the markets to start the week. The Dow off 89, the Nasdaq lost 66, the S&P 500 dropped 16. We'll be right back. Big night for sports fans here in the state of Wisconsin. The Brewers Game 3 of the National League Championship Series. Of course, the Packers host the 49ers for Monday Night Football.
Melissa Kim is here now with more on what to watch for tonight. Lots of choices.
Yes, guys, a big night indeed. The Brewers are on the road in Los Angeles tonight for Game 3 of the NLCS against the Dodgers. Now, the series currently split at 1 game apiece after the Brewers lost Game 2 on Saturday. Should be an interesting battle on the mound with Jhoulys Chacín starting for the Brewers. He's 15-8 this season, but not exactly successful against the Dodgers. He pitched in LA on August 11th, gave up 9 runs and 4 1/3 innings of work, but he is 1-0 in this postseason thus far. Meanwhile, the Dodgers will start 24-year-old Walker Buehler, who is 8-5 on the season and lost his only outing against the Brewers. That was in LA on July 31st. First pitch at 6:39. That is on Fox Sports 1. Now, this is the first of 3 games that will be in LA. The Brewers have to win at least one of them in order for the series to come back to Miller Park. Now, if that would happen, Game 6 would be on Friday night. Now, the Packers hosting the 49ers on Monday Night Football tonight at Lambeau Field. And it appears that health is again a concern tonight. Both Randall Cobb and Geronimo Allison are likely to be inactive, that according to ESPN. So that leaves Aaron Rodgers with fewer targets, but it could also be an opportunity for rookies like Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Equanimeous St. Brown, those guys that they just drafted to step up. Also be a good chance for the running backs to make an impact, which head coach Mike McCarthy says he has wanted to improve on throughout this entire season. Kickoff at 7:15 on ESPN. So get your laptop, get your iPad, get your TV, get that all set up today.
A multiple screen night.
Yes,
you
indeed.
have to be able to watch both. Melissa, thank you.
Thanks, Melissa. Let's head out to the weather patio now for a check on the forecast. Gary?
It's kind of chilly out here. Even though the skies are sunny, the temperatures only made it up into the lower 40s today, and we'll see another cold night for tonight. Let's start out, first of all, by taking a look and seeing what our high temperature trend is here over the next 7 days. And you can see they're pretty cold. The average high temperature goes from 59 to 57, and it looks like we'll be in the lower 50s for tomorrow, only the upper 40s for Wednesday. Mid-50s on Thursday. Friday probably our mildest day with high temperatures close to 60, but there will be a chance of showers that will linger into Saturday. Saturday's high temperatures in the upper 40s with falling temperatures in the afternoon, and those showers could mix with some flurries before ending Saturday night. Sunday, still upper 40s and lower 50s for Monday. There will be a warming trend next week, though. It'll take our temperatures perhaps back to the middle 60s by Thursday of next week. A live view for the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville shows mostly clear skies there, but still, it is chilly out there. It looks mild, but it isn't. The WISC Skycam looking off toward the east shows sunny skies, as does the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. As we check out the almanac for today, our high temperature topped out only at 42 degrees. The average high is 59. The low temperature of 32, also below normal. And right now we're sitting at 42 degrees. Winds are out of the west at 12 miles per hour. Dew point temperature in the middle 20s, so the air is pretty dry. That will allow temperatures to drop off after dark. In fact, last night low temperatures were in the upper 20s to lower 30s through much of the state away from Lake Michigan. To our south, temperatures only dropped into the middle 30s across northern Illinois. There's actually a freeze warning for northern Illinois and eastern Iowa because they haven't had a hard freeze yet, but pretty much all of Wisconsin has seen that, so no more frost advisories or freeze warnings here. Current temperatures are already in the 30s over northeastern Wisconsin and barely in the 40s here in the southern part of the state. On weather track, the jet stream is right overhead, dividing milder conditions to our south and west to much colder conditions to the northwest. The main part of the jet stream down toward the Ohio River with some showers and thunderstorms from Texas up the Ohio Valley, but right now that's keeping the active storm track away from us. So the weather systems coming in from the north and west don't have a lot of moisture associated with them, which is good news. That will allow us to dry out because we still have a number of rivers that are at or above flood stage, but at least the temperatures will be warm enough not to have to worry about that freezing, at least for more than a couple of hours at night, and then during the daytime temperatures will still be fairly comfortable. Upper 30s across parts of Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin, low 40s here, but to our west, notice temperatures in the 60s across the western Dakotas back into Montana. On future track, clear skies tonight will allow temperatures to drop into the lower 30s. High temperatures tomorrow in the 50s with southwesterly winds, but then those winds shift back to the northwest, bringing in colder air for Wednesday, and high temperatures temperatures in the upper 40s. And then on Thursday, those winds shift around back to a more southwesterly direction, and our temperatures go right back up into the 50s. As we check out our forecast for tonight, look for mostly clear skies, a cold night, low dropping to 31. Tomorrow, sunny, breezy, a little milder, high temperature topping out at 53. On future track, you can see those temperatures tumbling to around freezing or a little bit below by early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, those winds out of the southwest will bring temperatures up into the lower 50s. Then those winds shift back around to the northwest, allowing temperatures to drop into the lower 30s for tomorrow night. And Wednesday, looks like high temperatures will stay in the 40s. As we check out the 7 to 10 day forecast, cooler than normal weather expected through the weekend. There is a chance of showers Friday and Saturday. Again, those showers could mix with a few flurries Saturday night before ending. But that's really the only rain in the next 10 days. Sunny skies expected for next week. The warming trend taking our temperatures up into the middle 60s by Thursday of next week. As we take a look at first alert traffic, it's an average Monday. That's the view from the DOT camera at John Nolan Drive and the Beltline. Traffic a little heavier in the eastbound direction, but still not too bad. Seeing some delays eastbound on the Beltline from around Monona Drive back to around Park Street. Westbound delays start around Fish Hatchery Road and head back to around John Nolan Drive. A few delays also northbound on US 12 out of Middleton. Right now, about a 19-minute trip eastbound on the Beltline from University Avenue to the interstate, 18 minutes back in the westbound direction. Heading out of Madison, the usual 28 minutes down to Janesville on I-3990, 19 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, and 20 minutes to Sun Prairie on East Washington Avenue and US 151. That's your first alert traffic.
All right, thanks, Gary.
Ahead at 5, a new survey finds parents are still skeptical about the flu vaccine. We'll tell you what you need to know about it when we come back.
News 3.
Florida health officials say a child is the first death in the state during this year's flu season. Health experts emphasize a flu shot is the best way to protect against the virus.
But as Tom Hansen shows us, many parents are still skeptical or misinformed about the vaccine.
Have you gotten your flu shot last year?
Yeah. Eric Teitel is getting a flu shot at his local Walgreens pharmacy. A doctor himself, he says he does whatever he can to stay healthy.
Flu, can be a very deadly disease, especially as we get older and in the younger age groups.
Flu vaccines are recommended for anyone over 6 months of age, but a new national survey shows many parents question the safety and effectiveness. Orlando Health reports 53% believe flu vaccines can cause children to get sick with the flu. 34% believe the flu vaccine doesn't work.
You cannot get flu from the flu vaccine. This vaccine and others do not give you autism. Influenza vaccine is safe. Each year we have many cases of influenza among children, and some of those children sadly die, and most of those children are unvaccinated.
Last year's flu season was the deadliest in at least 4 decades. 80,000 people died of the flu and its complications.
The time to get vaccinated is now. The CDC recommends that everyone be vaccinated before the end of October.
The flu virus is out there. It's just getting started. After you get vaccinated, it takes about 10 days, 2 weeks for your protection to build up.
Joseph Gilbert gets his flu shot every year.
It protects all of us. The more people that get flu shots, the less people are able to get the flu.
He hopes more people make it a priority. Tom Hansen, CBS News, New York.
Stay with us. We'll have another check of your forecast in just a moment. Last
America's next big election is on now, and the balance of power in Congress is at stake. Jeff Glor takes you to the key states to see what voters are saying about the future of our nation.
Still undecided.
Still undecided.
The battleground state of Missouri, tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And it's colder outside than it looks.
Yeah. Well, you know, you look outside, hey, the sun's shining, great. Take a look at these temperatures. 42 right now in Madison, already in the 30s up in the Fox Valley and much of northeastern Wisconsin. Tomorrow's high temperature at 53, but back down to 47 on Wednesday, 54 Thursday, upper 50s Friday, and then upper 40s for the weekend. Some shower chances Friday and Saturday, maybe ending as a few flurries of snow Saturday night. But then next week, dry weather, which is what we need, and then a slow warming trend too, taking our temperatures from the upper 40s on Sunday to the middle 60s by Thursday. That'll feel a lot nicer.
Yeah, there's a 60 in there. Usually about Halloween's always very, very cold. Maybe
Halloween's not on that.
I know, but it's on the horizon, and usually we freeze to death on Halloween with the trick-or-treaters.
Take your word for it.
Hopefully warmer this year. Gary, thank you. Thanks for joining us. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 at 6. The CBS Evening News is next. Stay tuned.